I really feel like I remember something about the whole thing being about trying to ban Muslims.
That's because most people only listen to mainstream media.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
Trump's Muslim ban, as you call it, wasn't that at all.
What? I didn't call it that. Trump called it that.
In fact, the actual executive order only named one country, and that was Syria. The other 6 countries come from this law.
Do you think possibly it may have behooved you before making this video to have actually read the executive order and all of the executive orders that were part of the Muslim ban? Because, like, the government makes every single one of them fully available. For example, one of the ones in question, right here on January 27, 2017, I issue Executive Order 13769. 69. Do you see right there what it says? Why don't I read it for you? Among other things, Executive Order 13769 suspended for 90 days certain aliens from 7 countries: Iraq, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen. Yep, that's 7 countries that are more than just Syria. Now, to be fair, for clarity's sake, that snippet I just read was from Executive Order 13780. In 769, they just left it really vague and said, nationals and countries we think are threatening. Are you threatening me? I mean, why limit it to just 7 countries? It turns out litigation is why. It was being held up in court, which is why he issued 780 specifying those 7 countries. So maybe next time, read all of the things before you say things on the internet where everybody else can go read all of the things that you didn't read. But don't feel bad, because your video isn't even close to the dumbest response I got on this. First, Trumpty Bumpty that I was responding to kept tripling down and being like, it wasn't a Muslim ban because Muslims could come from, like, Saudi Arabia. Which is a great point. Saudi Arabia wasn't on that list, and I can think of a couple billion both green and black reasons why. It's also a great point to prove that this wasn't about preventing terrorism, because what was it, 15 of the 9/11 hijackers came from Saudi Arabia? But the thing is that just because it didn't effectively ban 100% of Muslims isn't the gotcha that dude thought it was. I mean, the dude's living proof that contraceptives aren't 100% effective at banning sperm from fertilizing an egg, but we can all agree that that's what they're designed to do. The fact is that Trump said out loud multiple times that his intent was to ban Muslims, and then he gave old Rudy a ring and said this.
Does the ban have anything to do with religion? How did the president decide the 7 countries? Talk to me.
I'll tell you the whole history of it. So
right.
When he first announced it, he said Muslim ban. He called me up, he said, put a commission together, show me the right way to do it legally.
When they did that and banned as many Muslim-majority countries as they could legally get away with, or ones that don't give us lots of money and oil, and then the people affected by the ban were almost exclusively Muslim, so even though it didn't ban 100% of Muslim people, it was still a Muslim ban. I don't know how I can make that any more apparent to you. But even that wasn't as dumb as this motherfucker's comments. Kevin here, who I assume asks everybody he meets if they smell burning toast, told me that I was lying and being intellectually dishonest because the clip of Trump saying he wanted to ban Muslims was taken out of context because Trump was really reading from an article that said he wanted to ban Muslims, and that took what he said out of context. I'm like, that's a new one. I've seen some dumb defenses of pervert Hoover, but not that one. And I told him he wasn't reading an article, he was reading a statement from his own campaign website. We were just quoting Trump, quoting himself. He's like, no, it wasn't. It was an article and you know it. Okay there, big guy. I don't want to be intellectually dishonest or mislead anybody anymore. That's really not good of me. So for full and complete transparency, here's a screenshot of the statement on the Trump campaign website. And here's a clip of Donald Trump saying he's reading the statement from his website.
We put out a statement today. Shall I read you the statement? Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
Now, I know all of this is just some big liberal conspiracy and mainstream media cover-up to make Trump look bad because they're meanie heads. No, I'm never going to convince you guys that objective reality, exists. And that's fine, but one of my degrees is in psych, and I'm curious, for science reasons, how do you make your brain do all of that? Like, for me, even if it was for academic purposes, I don't think I could force myself to say things that are this neurologically deficient. And even if I was unlucky enough to be, like, this cognitively challenged, I feel like I'd do it less publicly. Never mind. I know you can't answer this because that would require self-awareness. I was asking too much. That's my bad. Anyway, y'all have any closing thoughts?
As always with Trump, there's more nuance than what you and your viewers know or care to know.
What's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
You're so right. How have we missed all of that nuance?